Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so I just wanted to make just a quick training camp preview video. Pretty sure training camp starts in a couple of days. May have already started, informally as far as like no practices on the field. But I wanted to kind of talk about it. So I'll just go over quick 5 things that I'm looking for going into training camp. Now, training camp, guys don't have pads on for a while. So I'll kind of mix this in because, I am looking forward to the pads most of all. We're all looking forward to, our first round picks more than anything. I'm sure about that. But I'll just start it off. I think the number one thing is the DBs. The Giants decided to draft a wide receiver in the second round. And some people thought that was kind of, you took a wide receiver too high. I didn't think so. But it just kind of just shows once you look at our wide receiver depth chart before everybody gets injured, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm knocking on wood, hoping that our wide receivers don't get injured. But at least right now, it looks like we got a healthy group. So Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, a vet. Him and Kenny Galladay are going to be instrumental. Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson. Those are 5 receivers who I think can be top 3 receivers on any team in the NFL unless you got 2 number 1 guys there. But top 3 receiver level talents on any roster. So we have quality wide receivers on this team, and they're going to be going against these DBs in practice. Now, they're probably going to win more often than they'll lose against these young DBs. It's going to be up to Adoree Jackson to lead that way. But you got Aaron Robinson. You got Cordell Flott. You got Darnay Holmes. You got I'm missing a guy. You got Greedy Williams' older brother. I'm gonna say Rondell Williams. Hopefully I'm not wrong on that. I know it's Greedy Williams' older brother. But you got him there too. And just looking at that DB roster, what do you have? You don't have many starts. I mean, looking at that depth chart. So they're going to need to really get up to speed in training camp. I'm hoping that you'll see them, and it's Rodarius Williams as I'm talking and thinking, but you're going to see them probably lose a lot of battles early on in camp, and as camp winds up, and as they get more comfortable in their defense, you're going to see them start to win drills. I'm hoping that you start to see them. And also, you want the wide receivers to do the same thing. But pretty much what I'm going to be looking at is all of these DBs because I'm more concerned about the DBs than I am the receivers. And I want to see if they're getting better throughout training camp. If these guys are able to step up and be that second corner next to Aaron Robinson. Because if not, the Giants are going to have to go out there and get a veteran cornerback who can be at least a serviceable outside corner starter. That's probably going to happen either way. But if one of these young guys is able to do it, if Aaron Robinson steps up and he's a starting level or above average starter, that would be incredible. That would be incredible for the Giants. But that's what I'm looking for as far as the DBs go. Moving on. I set this guy completely apart from any other rookie because I think he's the most important rookie we drafted, and it's Evan Neal. Evan Neal is the most important rookie because if Evan Neal is a Pro Bowl level tackle or even a fringe Pro Bowl level tackle, that means we have 2 of them on the team. And if you have 2 really good tackles on your team is usually a team that wins a ton of games. How many times do you see 2 Pro Bowl level tackles on a team and they're not winning a bunch of games? So if he's doing that, that makes the guard next to him better. And he's got Glowinski next to him. So that's not really a problem because I think that guard is solid next to him, which will help him a lot in turn. But if you have 2 tackles or 2 bookends that can keep that pocket to where you can maneuver around in that pocket because you got 2 tackles guarding it, that's going to be beautiful. That's all we need from Evan Neal all we need from him is to be an average tackle, slightly above average tackle. But if he can be a Tristan Wirfs kind of tackle, you're cooking with hot grease. You got 2 Pro Bowl level tackles, and those teams always win a bunch of games because you got 2 Pro Bowl level tackles. So moving on past Evan Neal, I mean that's just self-explanatory. Evan Neal is going to not really do much before the pads come on, but when those pads come on, I'm going to be locking in. I'm going to have my goggles on, fixated on what Evan Neal is going to do in every one-on-one rep, every scrimmage that we go against another team, all of that stuff. So moving on, just all of the young edge players. All of the young edge players are in one category to me. I'll get to my honorable mention before I get to my last one. But all of the young players are going to be, all of the young edge players, excuse me, are going to be important here. If they're winning their matchups, if they're going crazy, first off, it might say that the offensive line is struggling. But second, it might mean that we have some quality edges. I think Quincy Roche can be a good player, a good rotational piece. If Ellerson Smith can step up and be a fraction of what his potential looks like, that means we got 3 or 4 really good edge players who are young, because you got Aziz, who I think is going to be a solid player at the very worst. I think he'll be a solid guy, 8 to 10 sacks a year. It may not show up in this defense because there's so much blitzing, but that level of player, Thibodeau has the potential to be a 16, 17, up to 20. The sky is the limit with Kayvon Thibodeau. So that's him. And we'll see if he can be that kind of player. I'm not going to really bet on it until I see it, but we'll see. And then you got Quincy Roche, who showed that he can be a nice rotational piece, and then Ellerson Smith. So that's 4 guys, all under maybe 24. I think Roche might be a little bit older. He might have stayed in college for a while, but I'm pretty sure all these players are under 24, and you got 4 good edges under 24. That is a recipe for disaster. If you have, again, going back to the tackles, young tackles who are good, young edges who are good, that's the perfect way to build a football team. So I'm going to move on. That's self-explanatory. If you got dominant edge play, you're going to win games. If you got dominant tackle play, you're going to win games. You got dominant DB play, you're going to win games. Now the next thing is Daniel Jones. You cannot really take too much away from training camp, because sometimes people go out in training camp and stink it up, and sometimes people go out in training camp and the ball doesn't touch the ground, and then they're horrible. So you never know what a player is going to look like just because of what he did in training camp. So I'm not going to put too much stock into it, but Daniel Jones is going to have to build a rhythm. He's going to have to build confidence while in training camp. He's going to have to build a new rapport with all his receivers, a new aggressive rapport, because he's been taught the last 2 years to completely disregard all aggression and take the safe route and don't make the mistake. So if he can build that rapport with, Kenny Galladay, a new rapport where he's targeting the guy down the field and he's throwing him those 50-50 balls and he's putting it in a place where Kenny Galladay can actually get the ball, not just throwing it above him and pretending that you took a shot. If he's able to do that, if he's able to get on the same page with Kadarius Toney, if he's able to continue his chemistry with Sterling Shepard, who I think is really his number one guy, if he's able to build that rapport with Wan'Dale Robinson, and then the next guy, Daniel Bellinger, if he's able to do that, the Giants just worked out Eric Ebron. If he's able to build that rapport with these guys, including Saquon Barkley, that's going to be huge. That's really all this is about. If he throws an interception, I'm not worried because he's been aggressive. I'm just not worried. I know he's learning a new offense. He's got, his 5th offensive coordinator who not in the NFL, but throughout college. He's had a ton of offensive coordinators in general. So he's going to have to, catch up quick. He's going to have a learning curve, and he's going to have to get those bumps and bruises out of the way, because he doesn't have the luxury of having, an okay year and then coming back next year and lighting the world on fire. He has to make it happen right now. So you got to utilize that entirety of this training camp to make sure that you're on the same page with all your receivers, to make sure that you're, getting in and out of different plays and everything that comes with that. My honorable mention before I get to my last and most important thing in training camp is Daniel Bellinger. Daniel Bellinger, if this guy is a solid tight end as a rookie, if he's able to be in the right places, if he's able to make, those red zone catches because he's a big body guy, if he's able to do all of that, I think that's an X factor for our team because we have so many decent to good to very good wide receivers. The tight end is just a complement to that. So if he's able to work that intermediate space, and if he's able to be in the right spots and do everything that you need out of a really good tight end, that would be amazing for the Giants this year. So that's my honorable mention. Last up, the most important, is health. And I don't want to talk too much about this because I don't want to jinx it. And I'm not going to even go into any scenarios of what could happen because I don't want to jinx it. And maybe I shouldn't have even said this because I don't want to jinx it. But that's the most important thing by far. The Giants have been the most injured team in the NFL since 2009. Our starters have missed literally about 60 or 70 more games than the next team in the NFL. Fix it. Fix it, John Mara. Fix it, Brian Dable. Everybody, you got to fix it. If it's the turf, something needs to be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. So stay healthy, guys. That's all I have for my top 5 training camp things that I'm looking out for. You guys go ahead and drop in the comments. What are you looking for this training camp, this offseason? What's the most important thing for the Giants to be able to be successful in the preseason and then, of course, in the regular season? Let me know. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.